And with that, we are live.
We are live. Well, let's get things rolling.
Let's do that.
Well, you found us. It's Thursday night. Welcome to Caching in the Northwest. This is the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the Great Pacific Northwest. We'll talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country. So saddle up, hitch up the wagons, and hit the geo-trail. It's time to go caching in the wild Northwest. And if we're going to talk about caching in the Wild West, it's time to bring in our straight-shooting Northwest mounted primate. Some say he rides a horse because it's too heavy to carry, and others say he only uses 5 gallons of his 10-gallon hat. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Howdy, partners. Listeners and viewers, you may have picked up on a little bit of a theme this evening, and if you had, let us know what you think that theme might be, because we're curious if we're maybe conveying the message well enough tonight, or if it's maybe just too esoteric. But most importantly, we are privileged this evening to welcome to our show Heidi O'Brien from the Helena Tourism Association. Heidi, welcome to the show. Heidi, aka Leprechaun Trackers.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a really an honor to be a part of this, and I look forward to chatting with you guys and sharing some of our Wild West here from Helena, Montana.
I love it. Heidi, it's great to have you here. Now, Land Monkey has absolutely raved for weeks now, not only on the podcast, but when we've been together in person, about his great adventures in Helena. So
Yes.
We're really interested to learn how much of this is true and how much of this is just going on inside his head.
Well, I'd like to think it's all true, but I don't know. I saw him dancing earlier. I'm not sure what's going on up there. So,
Thanks, Heidi.
Hey, no, it's a really interesting, the Geotour. I was a geocacher before we started the Geotour here in Helena, and I wasn't really, that into it at that point, and I thought, how is there a way to incorporate geocaching with tourism? And one day I was cleaning out my email inbox, saw a Geotour in another community, and I thought, oh, Helena has just some great things that we can show off here, and that's really when I got hooked up with the Helena, the Capital City Cachers, our caching club here in town. And I think the reason that you probably liked the Geotour so much is because it is very authentic caches. Like, they take it to heart. It's not something that someone who doesn't know what they're doing threw together. And I think that that's an important feature
That's
of the
definitely evident, Heidi, of our experience too there.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you. Now, Heidi, before we get into the topic too much, we have a tradition on our show that when we have a guest, we like to put them on the spot and ask what your favorite Northwest cache is. And for our regular listeners, we love hearing from you each week about your favorite Northwest caches and caching locations in your own voice. So be sure to use the voicemail tool on the website and send us your favorite cache, and we will play it on the podcast soon. Your message needs to only be about 15 seconds long. That's enough to say your geocaching name, the GC code, the name of the cache, and why you liked it. So this week, Heidi, it's all about you.
Oh,
what is
boy.
your favorite cache in the Northwest?
That's some pressure. My favorite is GCM27T, Camps Vista, which was on the Geotour. And that one is my favorite because I had never been there before. It's a really cool historic spot along the Missouri River where both Lewis and Clark camped at separate times in their journey. It's stunning. It's a beautifully maintained campsite trail, and I didn't know it existed. And I'm supposed to be representing Helena, Montana, so that is one of my favorite geocaches in the area. Yeah, what was your favorite of the Geotour?
Well, our favorite was your least favorite,
The lock and lock?
The lock and lock and a lock and lock.
Oh,
And
God.
it was our favorite just because of the effort and creativity that went into building it, even though it
Yeah.
was our least favorite because we spent about half an hour banging our heads against a large ammo can. But you know what? Sometimes that's what the experience is about.
Yeah.
If everything is a quick, easy find, you might lose interest. And that one,
Hmm.
it was fairly quick to. It wasn't quick to find the cache because it was a beautiful hike to where the cache is.
Hmm.
And then once you find the cache, you get to spend some time enjoying the scenery.
That is a wonderful way of looking at it. I will pass that along to the cache creator.
There you go.
Yeah.
And actually, I was just going to throw something out here right away in the Q&A. Gary has chimed up, G-Slink, and he has shared with us that the reputation of the Helena Geotour has made it all the way to East Texas. We tout your Geotour all the time.
Sweet. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Fantastic. And thanks, Gary. Thanks, G-Slink, for A, for being listening on the show and participating, and B, for promoting one of our favorite Geotours in the extended Northwest.
Great. That's wonderful.
All right. Well, thank you, Heidi. And folks, before we jump more into the show, maybe we'll do just a little recap of geocaching fun and activities from all of us. And, I'll check in and see how everybody's past week has been. Bad Cop?
Well, I have quietly been working on filling out my finds calendar. So, during lunch hour, I'll go out and grab a quick cache here and there, and I've pretty much cleared out an area. So I'm beginning to, I started putting the finds or the days I needed to find into October, November, December, and I'm thinking, where am I going to have to go for lunch to be able to get these finds? But, that gives me a couple of months to worry about that.
Planning
Heidi,
time.
have you been able to get out and do any caching this week?
I actually did this week. We have a new person in our office, and she's just learning about geocaching, and she got frustrated a couple times, so I went out and helped her find ones where I knew they were at. So yeah, I got out just revisiting old favorites.
So you're telling us that you were geocaching for work.
I got it rough, don't I?
Yeah. Not too shabby.
Yeah, not too shabby. Not too shabby.
That's the job I want.
Yeah, I wish every day was like that. Most definitely.
So before we get too focused on Montana, Land Monkey, we hear you have a special announcement. Would you be willing to share that with us? Since I would. Put you on the spot.
Oh,
you
yes.
don't have a choice now.
No, I don't, and I'll regretfully have to just chime up and share what I have to share here. I do have an announcement. We led into this last week on the podcast, and this is all about the GJIF events. You may recall last week we talked about us hosting a GJIF event in the Greater Vancouver area, and we have had it officially approved by geocaching.com. Not just the reviewer approving it, but there is actually, if you want to host a GJIF event, there is a two-stage process. And geocaching.com has said, yes, Land Monkey, you may hold a GJIF event. So that was awesome, and we are really excited about it. The GC code is GC63NXR. It is called Every Cacher is a Star. And we will literally be rolling out the red carpet for every geocacher who attends the event. It is going to have paparazzi, and it is going to be just awesome. We're going to have so much fun.
Nice. That sounds like a lot of fun. I know there's going to be many of these GJIF. In case you didn't know, we're talking about the Geocaching International Film Festival. And it's one of those things, how do you pronounce the G and the I? So we're just making multiple consonant sounds of GJIF to cover all our bases there. And these events are going to be throughout the Northwest. I know we've got two in short driving distance here, so we'll be able to grab those. But if you're planning one, why don't you let us know? Send us an email to feedback@cachingw.com And we will make sure to get that on an upcoming show so that people in your area will know about it. And we want people to come to your event. Now, you know that we have extra bonuses for you on each and every episode, and this episode is no different. So thanks to our special guest tonight, you have a chance to win one of these cool, or if you fill it with ice, it could be cold, swag bottles. Filled with cool Helena, Montana swag. In fact, I've got some right here. If you're looking, we've got the pins. We've got these are really cool. These are LED flashlights. Look at that. A little flexible there. You can stick that in your back pocket. We've got pins. We've got all sorts of things in this swag bottle. You're going to want to win one of these. Now, to win one, you're going to have to listen to the end of the show. So no skipping ahead. You got to listen through the entire show.
The whole show?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
And at the end, we'll tell you what you need to do.
Fine. I'll listen to the whole show, but only because I want to win one of these bottles.
That's right. Before we get going too far, there's a few more things in the Q&A. Three Hams in a Row said he's already has his tuxedo reserved for the MVGIFF. You got to put a vowel in there. I can't pronounce that.
We need fewer vowels.
Oh, you got too many consonants. It's like a New York cabbie's name. You can't pronounce those things. And IHAM says there seems to be a mustache shortage here.
Heidi, take that as a compliment.
Yes.
Okay.
Our third host has quite the mustache. So there you have it. Now, before we turn our attention to the great state of Montana that's bordering the east side of the Northwest, tonight we'd like to hear about you from your about the Helena, Montana Geotour, a very interesting sounding event you have upcoming soon. So first off, the Geotour, and how did you and your team come up with the idea to have a Geotour, and what was involved in putting that whole thing together?
Uh-oh.
And we may have lost Heidi temporarily.
So while we're waiting for Heidi, just in the interest of keeping things moving along, maybe what we can do is share just a little bit more insight about the Helena Geotour. So first of all, I'm going to throw a shameless plug out there. And if anybody actually wants to see some of the action and activity that can take place during the Helena Geotour, 2 of the most recent episodes of Land Monkey's Geocaching Adventures will actually highlight some of the very cool caches on the Helena Geotour. So if you go to YouTube and search Land Monkey, that is what will come up. We had a blast. Okay, I see that Heidi has officially disconnected, so she will reconnect momentarily.
She will reconnect.
Yeah,
Bryling says not the whole show, ? So yes, Bryling, you have to listen to the entire show.
Including this part, the film.
Including this part, yes, in order to get the information to win.
And we'll know if you didn't listen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have stats and everything. We can track you.
All right. Hey, look, it's Heidi.
Hi.
Hi.
We missed you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. All right. So, Heidi, I'm not sure where you dropped off, but the
Sure.
Bad Cop had a question for you. And
Oh,
really
yes.
it's for you to share with us how your team came up with the idea to have a Geotour and what was involved in putting it together.
Well, it was just, like I said earlier, I knew that geocaching was something that could correlate to tourism, and I wasn't sure how. And then when geocaching had this Geotour platform, it just seemed to go hand in hand with what we did. Probably the most difficult part of getting the whole thing in place was, I am funded, my organization is funded 100% with hotel dollars. So it's a hotel assessment. So I had to go and convince these hotel managers who had thought I was nuts when I talked about geocaching, that they should invest, a sizable chunk of money into having a Geotour. So that was probably the biggest hurdle to overcome in getting the Geotour going, most definitely. Yeah.
Nice. What kind of response have you had from the Geotour and from the people who've been on it, and most importantly, the businesses that are affected by it or profit from it, I should say?
It's so just first to address the people who have come and done it. I think most of them are pretty excited that it is, put together by real geocachers, and they appreciate that aspect of it. We've had people who gather in Montana because they've always wanted to come here as like a family reunion, and there's a few people in the family who will cache, and by the time the end of the reunion, they've got a family of 20 who's addicted to geocaching. So we've had that happen a few times, and that's always cool to see that come about that way. And then the businesses, the hotels are pleased. I mean, how could they not be? We've had people from all over. The business where you pick up the coin at the end. She's just thrilled to be a part of it, and she's learned so much about geocaching. So it's been great. The community really understands it now. I'll still get, the stray business owner every now and then saying, how come I can't have a geocache at my property? And they don't understand, I'm like, well, there's rules, and they can't be this close, and they never thought it was that complicated. So, yeah, it's an education process for sure.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
So, are you looking to expand it at all now that businesses see that, hey, a geocache on my property actually brings me more people to my doorstep? Would you be willing to consider an expansion?
Yeah, we're looking at different ways to change it up. We've had it now for 2.5 years, kind of the same way. I've talked to the reps at geocaching. Miss Jen is the main one who I've talked to, and she has some good ideas how we can change it in the future. We're just not exactly sure what will fit and work for Helena. So if you guys have any great suggestions, I'd definitely be game to hearing them. And if any of your listeners have any suggestions on a good way to change up a Geotour, I'd love to hear what they have to say as well.
Well, I think one of the things that is definitely going to be an asset is the big geocaching event that's coming up very soon in Helena. I think that is something that really makes an additional draw for geocachers, helps raise the awareness of the Geotour, but also just adds so much more value. The Geotour itself was a fun and amazing adventure, and I have been talking about it for a few weeks. We just loved every aspect of it. Really well done. But Heidi, do you want to tell us a little bit more maybe about the event that's coming up?
Sure. Well, we have a series of events coming up the first weekend of October, and it starts on Friday, and I have this up here, October 2nd, with our Wild West campfire kickoff, and that is GC 62027. And we're going to come up, in Helena, where our office is, it's a little bit haunted, and there's some cool ghost stories from that area there. Helena is also known for lots of ghost interactions and that sort of thing. So we're going to do ghost stories at our campfire kickoff. So I look forward to doing that on that Friday. We'll have, of course, marshmallows and s'mores and all that. And then on Saturday, the main events will start at around 9 a.m. We're going to do some sort of modified poker run. Just had some people who reported cheating in the past in normal poker runs, so we're coming up with an interesting way to change that up so nobody can cheat, but I can't tell people or they'll figure it out. They'll know how to beat the system. It's also the Helena History Fair is that weekend, so there's a lot of historic things going on, a lot of reenactments, so I think it goes, the geocachers will really enjoy it, and it'll be another reason for them to come to town. So. Yeah, and then Sunday we'll end it all with a nice breakfast and send everybody on their way.
I'm practicing for telling ghost stories.
I like it.
Got my Helena flashlight going.
Nice. I'll have to make sure I have plenty of flashlights for people when we do that.
And we talked about the prizes at the beginning of the show. I'm going to just plug it again. That we're going to have a little contest if you listen to the whole episode, and you got to listen really closely to what our guest is saying to win the prize. But one of the items in the prize, two of the items in the prize, are these super cool Helena flashlights, and they're thin. Look how thin those are.
Super cool and super bright.
Yes.
Yeah, they're nice and bright. You know, they're actually called smash lights, believe it or not.
Smash light.
Oh,
Well, you know
And
what?
they're magnetic too.
And they're magnetic. They're the perfect geocaching flashlight.
They are. They
They fit
definitely are.
into any pocket or such. They're awesome. So yeah,
Yeah.
cool
you
swag.
could even put them in the brim of your hat there, Mr. Monkey.
Well, I could. I could put a lot of things in the brim of my hat. Not quite 10 gallons though, maybe 5.
Yeah, about 5, maybe 2.5. It depends.
Oh.
So more questions from the Q&A. Did Three Hams in a Rose ask, did you seek funding from the local RV parks as well?
We didn't. My particular program is funded 100% by hotel
Okay.
dollars. So I just went to them. I did not reach out to any campgrounds or anything like that. But I can't imagine, you know, once people know about it and they understand the draw, they want to support this type of program. So.
Exactly. So you mentioned that you're supported by hotels.
Mhm.
Are there any lodging tips or discounts that you can share with our listeners looking
Yeah,
to come to this event
definitely.
or do the Geotour at any time?
Yeah, so the event on the event page, the main event page is GC 6203A, and it's the Wild West Cash Bash. And so if people go on there, they'll have a link to helenamt.com, and on there we have all sorts of information on hotel discounts and that sort of thing. We have several hotels offering special rates for the event, and if people are getting frustrated and can't find it, and you know sometimes there's some disconnect there with the hotels and what we're offering, I just encourage people to just shoot me an email. My email's all over the website, and I'd be happy to help them track down what they need.
Wow, very generous. I have to say, during our stay when we came in, which obviously wasn't during the Wild West Cash Bash, so there wasn't a discount at the hotels for us, but we did find that the staff at the hotel we stayed at were super friendly and welcoming, and they really helped make the stay awesome.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, Helena's really small town, so I think that helps create that type of environment.
Definitely, that was definitely our experience. Well, what if somebody is coming or they would like to come to the Wild West Cash Bash? That's GC6203A, and their significant other or their kids aren't really big into geocaching. Is there anything else for people to do and enjoy while they're there?
Oh, yes. Yeah, bring the whole family. Even the geocaching event is not so specific that, you know, anyone will feel alienated for it. I have two young boys. They're 10 and 12 now, and they're going to be there with me, and they've come to a lot of geocaching events, and they now have very strong opinions on what geocaching events should include. I don't know if the balloon toss is going to be appropriate for this time of year, but the entire event will be great for the whole family.
Catch
So,
this ice block. Yeah.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, one of the things I'm really excited about is a geocaching kind of relay race. So there'll be different challenges. Teams of 3 will have to enter, and there'll be different challenges for each person to do that are geocaching related. But who doesn't love a good race? So that'll be fun. And then with the history fair in town that weekend, they have a lot of activities geared toward families. Where we're at in town is right across the street from a great park. Helena has just awesome things going on for the whole family. The Great Northern Carousel is the location of near one of the caches, and that's always fun for the family. Walking mall, a lot of good things to do. So you can
Well,
bring the whole family, and they will all be happy.
there you go. And folks, maybe if they're interested in a little bit more of the history of the town, two things I would suggest. First of all, there's a couple of multi-caches that take you right down the main Dry Gulch Road. Is that what it's called?
Last Chance Gulch.
Last Chance Gulch. Thank you.
Yes.
That take a couple of multis that take you up and down there that take you to some interpretive signs, and it's just a neat spot to stroll, and it's very safe and fun to stroll that area. And the other thing is, I noticed, maybe you can tell us a little bit more. There is I want to use the word train that drives people around to see some of the sites.
Yeah, there is a tour train that goes through town, and it's kind of an open air rubber wheeled trolley kind of thing, and not on a track. Some people think it's on a track. It's not a train on a track, and that is a great way to see town. Unfortunately, the tour train will not be running in October, but we have contracted with the people who operate the tour train, and they are going to do a special run just for our geocaching event. So any of the geocachers who are at this are invited to hop aboard the trolley they're going to bring. It's a little bit warmer for that time of year.
Nice.
And go on the tour of Helena and learn about the history of the area, which is really quite unique. Very cool gold rush history.
Very cool.
Fantastic.
Bad Cop, did you want to maybe share the feedback from G-Slink?
Exactly. That's what I was going to do.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Same wavelength tonight. G-Slink, Heidi, he's the one from East Texas who touts your Geotour all over the place. So
I love it.
So,
thank you.
Have affected the entire state of Texas. So
big state.
Some people say it's their own country, but we won't go there. He asked, do you have more than one person maintaining the caches?
Well, yes. The caches, the local cachers still maintain ownership of a lot of the caches, so they help with that. And then we always get the reports of everything too, so we know, and we try to get out there. If one of the guys can't make it into town because he lives out in the valley, he'll ask me to go take care of one of his caches. So we really work together on all of it. There's probably a core group of 5 or 6 of us that maintain all the caches.
Heidi, you just made a good point when you're talking about one of the folks who owns the caches lives out in the valley. One of the things we found out about the Helena Geotour is it is not just contained within the city boundaries of Helena. How big of an area does the Helena Geotour cover approximately? You don't need to be. and how long should people plan for if they're going to come and do the Geotour?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are caches that are, that can take 45 minutes to an hour to get to. There were just some really great outlying areas that we wanted to be sure to include on the Geotour. We made the Geotour so it would take at least a day and a half to full days for an experienced cacher to do, and we did that simply because we are in the business of supporting the hotels and having them people take a little bit longer to do the Geotour, not knock it out in a day, was our goal of the tour. And that's it's really, I'm glad you brought that up, because we have tried to publicize that it's not like quick, just get it done and you're on your way, because some people have gotten frustrated. They're like, I thought I could get all 25 caches, and it's not. It's very spread out. So thank you for making that point. I appreciate that. Yeah.
No worries. I think it's definitely worthwhile taking the time, spending the time. I mean, we've talked about your favorite in the series by the Lewis and Clark lookout point there. We love the view up there. That actually, we captured a little bit of that in one of our videos as well. Just such an amazing spot. But heading out that way is a bit of a drive, and then you can keep going further, and there's a couple more out the same way.
Yeah, it's so funny because when you look at Helena, it doesn't seem like anything is really that far away, but when you're driving on gravel roads and you're not really sure quite where you're going sometimes, which is we've all been there, right? Even with our GPSs. So.
Oh, that's awesome. There's some great stuff out there.
Nice. Now, Heidi, did I see on social media today that there's going to be a coin for this upcoming event?
Yes, there is. And, I'm just kicking myself because I wasn't sure if this would be video or not, but I don't know. This is not going to work. Yeah. If you go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/iknowhelena, it's just like it's like 3 or 4 posts ago, I posted a picture of the event coin. So that is for the first 100 attendees. We'll have that event coin
Very
for
nice.
them. Yeah, it's a great coin. It turned out really cool. We have an image of the miners. We have a mining statue in town. We have that on one side, and then our iconic fire tower on the other side. It's really cool. It's
Well,
pretty neat.
and if I remember correctly, those two iconic things are not far from each other.
No, they're not. They're very close. You have a good memory.
But it sticks out. I mean, it was just such a beautiful time we spent in the town.
Oh gosh, that's great to hear. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And you did our selfie tour too, didn't you?
We did the selfie tour at the same time. Oh,
Nice.
there we go. Bad Cop is bringing up the Facebook page. I'm gonna
Yeah.
click
So
on
there
it.
you go. You can see a little bit of the geocoin here if you're watching live.
Yeah.
If you're not, well, go check out facebook.com/IKnowHelena, and you'll be able to see the geocoin before the event. It's a really beautiful coin.
Nice
Nicely
work.
done.
Yeah. It turned out very well.
Fantastic. Well, Bad Cop, do we want to maybe share a little bit about our contest now, or is there any more we want to talk about with respect to the Geotour, the events? Maybe Heidi, I should make sure that if there's anything else important about the event or the tour.
It's if anyone's considering coming to Helena to do the Geo Tour, this is just a great weekend, and there'll be a lot of activities, a lot of chances to get to know other cachers, and Montana cachers are just like cachers everywhere. They're I think we're all a great community, and we welcome anyone from wherever they come from with open arms, and we'd love to visit with everybody and hear about their caching adventures.
How nice. Well, thank you so much, Heidi. I appreciate that. Now, I don't know. Maybe you heard at the beginning of the show that we're going to give away a couple of these cool bottles filled with great Helena swag. I don't know. I hope we communicated that properly. So, before we go, we want to give these away. All you need to do in order to win is send us an email. Send that email to feedback@cachingnw.com before midnight Pacific time on Wednesday, September 30th. That's only 1 week away, partners. With the answer to the following question. What is the name, the GC code, and the date of the big geocaching event Heidi has shared with us on this podcast? So, Heidi, if they need one more clue, is there a website that our listeners can go to and check all this out?
Yes, everyone, please go visit HelenaMT.com and just do a little searching on there. It won't take you all long. You're all computer savvy, and you will find the event information on there.
Awesome. And yeah, at HelenaMT.com, I think you can also, that has access to information about the Geotour itself and the selfie tour, I think.
Yeah, it has it all on there. Yep.
Fantastic. Well,
Great. I
then,
will make sure those are in the show notes for our folks to be able to go and find those links quickly.
Great.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You. So before we go, my friends, and assuming that somebody listening wanted to connect with us online, where would they go to find everyone on the interwebs? Heidi, maybe we can start with you. Where can
Sure.
people go to find out about you or your team?
Yeah, we are, like I said, at facebook.com/IKnowHelena. We're on Twitter at IKnowHelena as well. And on Instagram, we are at Visit Helena, Montana, all spelled out. Montana, all spelled out there. But if you just find us in one, we're all linked up on the other one, so you don't have to memorize all that.
Awesome. And I think the one that I got used to using was at HelenaMT.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So there's yet another one. That's fantastic. All right. Thanks for that, Heidi. That's awesome. And I hope you hear from many of our listeners, and I hope people make some plans, if they can, to get out there
Yeah.
for that awesome event.
I'd be honored for you all to visit us.
Well, we're looking forward to when we can come back out there again, but it's a bit of a drive.
It is a drive. Beautiful though, beautiful.
It is.
I love driving through Montana. So
All
yeah,
right.
we'll plan to go out there before too long. So,
Good.
Land Monkey, it's back to you. Where would people find you on the web?
They can't find me on the web.
Oh, okay. You've scrubbed the web of your
Yeah,
existence.
I just don't. Okay, bye. No. If folks want to find us on the web, they can start at our blog website, which is landmonkey.blogspot.ca. On Twitter and Instagram, we're at LandMonkeyGC. That's GC for geocaching. Facebook, it's Team Land Monkey, and YouTube. just search Land Monkey on YouTube. And now, keep your eye open on Periscope. Every once in a while, we're popping up there doing something funny, like looking at bunnies while we're caching or something like that. So, hey, how about you, Bad Cop?
You know, that Periscope thing is really starting to take off. I see more and more geocachers using Periscope.
Yep.
Yes.
I still need someone to explain it to me, but I've seen it more and more, and it pops up on my phone. I still haven't figured that part out yet.
It's kind of like what we're doing here, but a little more mobile.
Exactly.
Okay.
So for me, you can find me on Twitter at CachingNW, Facebook.com/CachingNW, Google+. I'm also CachingNW. It's just that easy. So we want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest, and don't forget that you can be part of the show, just like our great folks here in the Q&A tonight. You can call 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask a question, send us promotion swag any time of the day or night. And, of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingNW.com. Also, your support helps keep the quality shows coming, so if you like this show, please click the PayPal button on the CachingNW.com website. This show's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2015 by Chris Umpenauer. Thank you so much, folks. Have a wonderful evening. And we are clear of the recording, but we are still live on the internet.
Are you done yet?
That was a mouthful.
Hey, we've got, yeah, it is a mouthful. Trust me, when it's your turn to say that, you got to kind of keep going.
You know, what is this, episode 113?
113.
Yeah, we've had that almost the whole time, and it's still amazing. I look at it and go, I don't think I've ever seen this before. What are these words?
That's because we keep adding extra silly little words in there to see if we catch each other up.
Yeah, that's true. We do, every time we do a different word under the, call us, you ask a comment, question. This time we said, send us promotional swag, because you have.
Yeah, that's why you're our favorite, Heidi.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, gosh. I feel like I should have given you guys some more things.
Well, speaking of giving things away, we did have some feedback. No worries. We did have some feedback in the Q&A from Brylang asking what was the email address for the contest. Again, it is feedback@cachingNW.com. And he was asking what subject line should be used for the email. I don't think we specified a subject line, but I'll tell you what. Why don't you put I know Helena as the subject line?
Perfect. I love that.
We'll get that to stick eventually.
I know Helena.
Awesome.
Oh, we have a couple of people in the Q&A that really went off base tonight. That's all I have to say. Heidi, you were very pleasant, and you mentioned s'mores, and that kind of started off something that.
I didn't see this. Is there no way I can see that Q&A?
If you move your mouse on the video, you'll see a bar pop up there on the left-hand side. Click the Q&A.
Darn it.
Sorry, we should have mentioned that to you earlier.
So, Brylang says, I've heard that s'mores made from peeps are supposed to be good.
Ooh, you know what, though? S'mores made with Reese's peanut butter cups, much better, I would think.
Oh, my goodness.
Like that idea.
I hate these.
Wet Coaster asks, Soylent s'mores?
Yes, I think they're talking about two different types of peeps.
Yes, exactly. It's funny. I just had Soylent Green sent to me on video. I hadn't seen that one in years. That's it's an interesting movie.
When I was working on my submission for the GIF this year, I was actually toying with the idea of how would I bridge Soylent Green with geocaching, and I thought
caches are people.
Yeah, I thought, there's probably ideas there, but that might even take it further than the video I did make, which, as it is, didn't get approved. So.
Did you go dark?
I didn't go dark. I went sarcastic.
Oh.
I was going to go dark. I chose not to go dark and went sarcastic. I don't know. I guess maybe it's a Canadian. thing. I don't know.
Off base tonight? Don't you mean every night? Every night.
Yeah.
Have
Oh,
to step up the offensiving.
yeah, there you go. An homage to another podcast. Although, um, if you're interested in learning more about Periscope, speaking of other geocaching podcasts, G-Slink, Gary Slinkard, he is co-host on Cache and Release podcast. And just a couple episodes ago, they did a great episode on using Periscope when geocaching. So
Ooh,
there you
I'll
go,
have to
Heidi.
check that out. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. We're promoting our friends from Florida and East Texas.
Exactly.
Where it's hot.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Cool.
Wet Coaster says, perhaps you should pre-record the ending. No, we'll never do that.
No, that takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
We pre-recorded the music for the ending.
Right. But you have to have that human touch. And we want each ending to be unique.
Every beginning is unique as well. We're just unique.
And Canadians are so darn polite.
Darn it. Well, that's what we want everybody to think anyway, so our evil plot is working.
Wait, you're a Canadian. You're not allowed to have an evil plot.
Correct. You just keep thinking that, my good American friend.
I see that Land Monkey, you once again kind of piloted or did some troubleshooting there for the Pope's tour. You decided to go to Cuba before he did just to see if everything was okay.
Yeah, we're nice that way. Just wanted to, make sure everything was cool. Oh, and looks like G-Slink's in the Q&A there.
Yes. Periscope is better than Meerkat, by the way. Meerkat is another option for live video. These videos, let's see. Periscope is kept for, I want to say 30 days.
I don't think even that long. I'm not sure.
And then, lost forever. So it's a bit like the Snapchat of video.
Okay.
Kept for a very short time. It's designed to be watched live, and at which point, when you're done recording, it's done.
Yeah. The difference is with Snapchat, I think you're bound by 15 seconds, I think it is.
Something like that, yeah.
Whereas Periscope, you can go as long as you've got data on your phone, pretty much.
Hmm.
Till your phone overheats and explodes in your hand.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It might be an interesting twist to the Helena selfie tour.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And it's funny because I've messed around with it, and I just don't know if it's because I don't have any friends or what. But like this doesn't do anything.
I'm your friend online.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad I have some friends.
Well, Periscope's owned by Twitter, so if you attach it to your Twitter account, you could walk around downtown Helena and, show people what they're missing.
Okay, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
I need to. I know it's one of my things on my list.
You know what you should do is you should do a Periscope live from the kickoff at the big event.
Oh, that's a great idea. Boy, you guys are giving me more work here.
Well, that's so that you'll come back on the podcast when you need more ideas.
I like it. I will. I'd be happy to.
Oh,
Right.
Reham says Land Monkey's got the quite the Puritan Thanksgiving look going tonight.
No. It might just be the camera angle there. That's the bad guy hat. There you go. Is that better if I roll it down further? It's supposed to be like the Clint Eastwood look going on.
Go a
there.
little farther forward.
Like that?
A little farther. A little farther. There we go.
That's better.
Yeah. Now we can't see your face at all. What are you doing?
Hey.
Oh. Hey, I'm the bad cop.
Bad cop, yeah. Oh, dear.
Okay, well, I think we're going to sign off tonight. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate all of you. And if you're going to make it out to the Cache-Splash event or the Helena, Montana
Wild West
Wild
Cash
West
Bash.
Cash Bash. I wanted to go with the Geotour, and I knew that wasn't it.
Hey, come for
Nick-
that too.
yeah, exactly. Make sure you look us up. Good night, folks.
Night, y'all.
Thank you very much, guys. That was really fun. I appreciate it.